this pitfall that game designers who don't have a lot of experience can often fall into. I've brought it up a few times in these videos cataloging 8-bit games. It's the idea that you should make your game as expansive as possible. Cities have thousands of buildings, and so having thousands of buildings in your game city is more realistic. This doesn't work because you're just creating a lot of noise for the player to sift through, and unless your gameplay is absolutely amazing, it's not going to be able to support players going through thousands of options. Kieta Princess is probably the most egregious example of this that I've come across. There's a ton of stuff in this game, and almost none of it matters. Kieta Princess is the second of Imagineer's Wavejack series, a set of 3 absurdly overproduced games that were intended to be multimedia experiences. Inside the elaborate box, you've got the instruction manual, a police notebook for jotting down information about your investigation, a fold-out map that only has some roads and broad geographic areas laid out on it, and you'll have to mark any important locations as you find them. The backside of the map is a poster of Yasuko Tomita. She plays the titular princess in the audio drama that's included on a cassette in the box. She also sings the game's theme song. The plot of the game is that Princess Kiera of Arabia, and I'm pretty sure that's an intentionally salacious pun in Japanese. Anyway, the princess is abducted on a trip to Japan, and a bunch of royal treasures are stolen. The King of Arabia stops all shipments of a cure for a disease that Japan is suffering, so Detective Monta Kobayashi has 30 days to find the princess and save all of Japan. The game starts out in a side-scrolling section, and here you hit A to jump, B to shoot, you can collect coins to get some more money, and when you emerge through the tunnel at the end, you come out of the police station. I don't know why the inside of the police station was like that, but there you go. Once out, you're where you'll be spending 99% of the game. An overhead view of a city where you can wander freely and enter every single building. The A button still shoots because criminals will randomly spawn in and run around firing at people, while the B button brings up a menu. Here you can talk to people, arrest someone, use an item from your inventory, or get some help from your dog. If someone does get shot, either by a criminal or you, then they become ghosts and you just walk off the screen and walk back to make them respawn. You'll need to explore the town fully, talking to everybody, checking every single house, and in this first town, there's maybe 5 people who matter. Give them the correct item, and you'll be able to continue onward. You can also find plenty of shops where you can buy food to restore your health, or potentially spend money frivolously on something that will clog up your inventory. There's also lots of other little locations, like a school where you can learn English, a gym where you can train and increase your maximum health, and your apartment where you return at night. There's always a clock ticking, and at 10 o'clock at night, you go home and fall asleep. Something to be cautious of is that you do have to eat from time to time, even if you're not hurt. If you don't eat, then you lose health. Your investigation can be pretty expensive, so you have to earn money by catching criminals. Mostly you do this by having your dog sniff around a house, identifying that there's a criminal inside, going in and then pressing the select button to bring up the menu, because the B button will just close the dialogue screen, and then arresting the person there. You drop them off at a police station, and you get a small amount of cash. Another aspect of the game that you have to be cautious of is that there's some characters you have to yell at. And I mean you, the player, have to yell at them. This game sometimes uses the microphone on Controller 2. Or at least it's on Controller 2 if you're using an original model Famicom. I'm using an AV Famicom, the revised version, and it does not have a microphone, so I couldn't continue the game. If you do want to save your progress, you have to go to a store, buy a floppy disk, and then use the floppy disk. So it costs you some of your money in order to save. Make enough progress, and you'll unlock additional sections of the game. There are 5 map sections of the size that you're seeing here. And then there are a very small quantity of side-scrolling areas, like the one that the game starts with. But these side-scrolling sections are so rare, and control so poorly, that it's odd that they're even included with the game. You would lose absolutely nothing to cut them. Weirdly, the comments I could find for Kieta Princess were mostly positive. Several people mentioned that they loved how many locations the game had. On the other hand, the people who weren't relying on their childhood memories all seemed to hate it, mostly commenting that they found the game to be unplayable. So maybe this is one where you had to be there. Obviously I wasn't, because boy did I hate this one. There's just too much junk here. Even if you have a guide in front of you, identifying all of the locations on the very generic map is a headache. I was about 50 minutes in when I reached the part that required the microphone, and it seems like I was a long way off from the second platforming stage. It does seem to take about an hour to play out a full day. That's assuming you don't take part in any activities that fill up time. And players were running out the clock back in the day, just trying to sort through all the noise that the game throws at you. If you're playing this without a guide, it's a miserable slog. And if you're playing it with a guide, then you're really not getting the game experience. Kieta Princess is a game that should have just vanished.